as I've always focused on my channel, I really don't trade. I'll trade a little bit, like 1% of my portfolio. I like to invest. And from an investor's standpoint, this is still telling me, based on the averages, no fancy predictive models, that the averages are still negative and bearish, in my opinion.
Cryptoslo, cryptocurrency news and investing.
Cryptoslo, more crypto gains. What's going on, guys? So I'm back. So I was out of town for about 2 weeks, taking a much needed break to build some of that creativity up. And quite honestly, really not a ton happened while I was gone. So I'm checking in today with today's video. We're all looking at that close tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern time to see how Bitcoin does. So let's get into it. So let's talk Bitcoin. All right. So I know that I've been bearish in the last few videos talking about island money, talking about when I think, personally, I could be wrong, not financial advice, is the best time to get back in and deploy your dry powder. And if you don't know, dry powder just means basically stables on the side. I know that term's thrown around a lot of times and people are like, what is dry powder? So, ultimately, the macros are still bearish. Now, this is just the law of fundamental averages here, okay? I'm not talking TA, I'm not talking plan B, I'm not talking stock to flow. I'm just focusing on the averages because basically, you're seeing a lot of influencers put out information that say Bitcoin's broke this trend, it's broken this trend, it's this trend, and that this has got to be the bottom. And it could be, possibly, but probabilistically, I'm still going to have to say no. If you look at the 17-18 crypto winter, we had this creep down. It was more triangular, and then we had some ladder downs. A lot of times, I don't like to see these ladders. When I say ladders, it's kind of like a cliff edge, but it's quite different on what we have going on now. Okay, you can see like these cliffs, okay, and then the sudden drop, cliffs, sudden drop. So it looks like the exact same pattern, but I'm not even going to focus on patterns or trying to predict things. Again, I'm back to the straight averages, and we always know the 50 is a leading indicator of the 200 and the 350. And we have to see, basically always focus on the 50-200 crossovers, right? Where it crosses over, and if both lines have a negative downward trajectory, it's usually bearish. And then as we can see, when the 50 in the aqua crosses the 200, we usually have positive price action. So as you can see, and then we get this gap between the 200 and the 50 when it's really strong, and we have that positive divergence, and basically the 50 pulls the 200 up. And again, you have to watch these crosses. So here is cross down, still going down. As you can see, one's going up, one's going down. So that's a little more unpredictable right there. And then as we see, it kind of turns up, and the 50's turned up. We get that positive price action. We had our death cross here. When was this? This was about January of 22. This was a very strong one. And then we had all these capitulation events with 3AC, Celsius, and such. So looking at this chart, both lines are pointed down, okay? Now the 350 is still headed down. It's more neutral. It takes quite a bit on the 50 and the 200 to pull that 350 back up, but we're still trading below these averages. But with that being said, long story short, this 50 has to turn. It has to turn very strongly to get this a positive crossover, a golden cross headed back up. And it's just not telling that to me. I mean, I think this is a rally. But as I've always focused on my channel, I really don't trade. I'll trade a little bit, like 1% of my portfolio. I like to invest. And from an investor's standpoint, this is still telling me, based on the averages, no fancy predictive models, that the averages are still negative and bearish, in my opinion. Looking over at ETH, it's kind of that same story. It's playing with crossing on over, getting back above the 50, which would be great. And if that happens, you could see ETH run up into the 2K range. But again, it's a trade. I kind of think of like if you had a cat and you had a treat on a string, and you keep dipping the string down lower, just out of the reach of the cat, trying to entice the cat to keep jumping. And I really, based on what I'm seeing, it's telling me that this is just still bearish. And for me, I'd rather wait for confirmation on the averages that we made that crossover. Sure, you can make some great trades, but if you get caught in a trade, it's catastrophic. You're better to invest for the long term when the averages look good, and you're going to get a stronger trade. So for the market, for now, like I said, not much has changed in my opinion. We are seeing a relief rally, which is great, but again, I'm not trading it because I don't want to get caught on one of these cliffs. Because if you get nailed on one of these cliffs, you're done, because it could range down lower, and who knows how long it's going to be down there on the bottom. So that is that. Let's talk elephant money. So, bunch of updates to elephant money. Let's start with elephant first. First and foremost, there's the buy with Bertha, which directly supports the treasury. And now you can get into the lossless raffle by purchasing elephant. So if you buy through the website, get your elephant bags, you meet these minimum thresholds, you can be entered in the raffle to get that. As far as elephant goes, we're seeing some higher highs here, and we're looking like we're headed towards a breakout, which would be awesome sauce. Yeah, it's looking pretty positive right now. So still DCing into my elephant. Like I said, I've got about $1 trillion still sitting on my bag. And we talked about this. What will save the system is elephant. I mean, at the end of the day, you can sit and talk about 20 other things, but ultimately, elephant is what will save the system for sustainability. Let's see, what else? Oh, there's the new transfer function, which is a 3.5% fee. But what is the transfer function? So a lot of people had their elephant trapped on a hot wallet, their MetaMask, and they wanted to move it to a cold wallet using, like a ledger or a treasure. So this new transfer function on the elephant page allows you to transfer your elephant for 3.5%, and that 3.5% fee goes to support the treasury instead of the 10% that you would normally pay sending it to another wallet. So if you want to increase your security, which you want to hold your elephant in a cold wallet just to avoid scams and stuff, this is a great function to have. And this is a great takeaway from this is the dev keeps building. In down times, what can you do? You can sit and just stare at the charts all day, or you can keep building. And the dev is continuing to build and is continuing to add things to the system to make it stronger and give people more flexibility in what they do. So buy with Bertha, elephant transfer, raffle, elephant. Talking about trunk. Now, trunk. Now, this happened while I was gone, and I came back, and I was like, oh. Basically, there is a sustainability update applied to the APRs on Trunk staking and Stampede. This was put into place. This is my kid's account to basically help give the system more time to recover. Because as we've talked, we want elephant to become parabolic so that we can make trunk great again. That's why there's you really can't do anything about this peg until elephant goes parabolic. And that is the key to this system, is elephant going parabolic, and that solves our peg problems, and then this APR naturally floats up. So this APR is dynamic depending on the system and what the TWAP is at the time. And right now it's DMP, it's about 50%. For staking, it's 21.45. So that is it. That is the updates on Elephant Money, and a little discussion about BTC. And again, my takeaway on this BTC is don't get trapped on one of these cliffs, because then you're ruined. I mean, look at these cliff drops. It's almost a 10K. This was the support level, this 18, 19K, but the next support down is around 13, 14K. So with that, I would say, based on the overall bearishness of the macro trends, the next drop, if we get a drop, I think would be between the 13 and 15K range. And then once again, that sets up a trade for you traders again, if you want to trade. But I would definitely probably put about 25% of my capital in if we get this drop into that 13 to 15K. I think that would be a solid time to deploy some of your capital. But again, don't blow it all in one spot. Make sure you're able to DCA as we wait for this crypto winter / ice age to end. And something to keep in mind, the Mt. Gox unlock is coming soon. So basically, the big hack from Mt. Gox, 137,000 Bitcoin is set to be released. Now, keep in mind, some of these people probably lost their keys, etc., etc. But this is a lot of money, 2.8 billion. Now, those people on Mt. Gox, they had their Bitcoin when it was low. So I would assume, with probability, that some of these people were going to sell at spot, and this is going to further drive down the price. Now, is it a mega black swan event and all this? It's tough to say, but yeah, that's 3 billion. That's not good. Some people have been waiting a long time, but congratulations if you still have your keys and you're going to get some money back from Mt. Gox, because I don't think they thought they were ever going to get their money. So get those coins back to those people, and this is just another bump on the road to financial freedom with this Bitcoin situation. So with that being said, as always, stay safe out there. Like, subscribe. This is Cryptoslo. If you're not talking gains, then we're not talking.